This is the I Love Success podcast. I'm Peter Jumrukovski, and I have made a vow to myself to help as many people as possible to achieve their dreams. Let's get started. Hi, and welcome back to the I Love Success podcast. I'm super excited to have you here today with me. This is the show where I meet some of the most successful people on their planet and share their stories. I also share lessons from my own life in order for you to excel and go after those dreams, make them goals, and have a systematic approach on how to achieve exactly what you want. You know, we're all sometimes scared of life, scared of adventure, scared of our goals. And I do believe that when we have this inner fear, it means that we're onto something. It means that we're a little bit scared of going after it because it's something unknown. It's something big, and you might fail. You might not reach that. And sometimes we're even scared of succeeding. I don't know if you can relate to that. Anyways, this show is going to be very, very interesting. It's going to be short and sweet. And I'm going to talk about how long are you in failure mode. But before we do that, let me just share why I am here on this planet and why I'm doing this. So my big fat goal is to help at least 10 million people in 10 years to go after their dreams. Right now, you're the most important person to me. And wherever you are on your path towards success, whatever that means for you, because I think it's different for everyone. For some people, it's money. For some people, it's family. For some people, it's traveling. For some people, it's health. For some people, it's a mix of all of that. And the reason for this show is to bring on guests that can give you different ideas of what success looks like, so you can find your own path and your own success. And I want to help a lot of people. So if you enjoy this show, please give us a review. Check us out on YouTube on my name, Peter Jumrukovski, and give us a review on I Love Success podcast on iTunes or Spotify. And just go ahead and share this with somebody that might have value from this show. This is all for free, but don't get me wrong, there's so much value here. So I almost wish you could pay for it, and you can pay a lot because you would pay even more attention. So make sure to pay attention to today's episode and the following ones. We've done almost 300 shows now, and I've had guests like Dave Asprey, Tom Bilyeu, astronaut Anusha Ansari, a 9/11 survivor, tons of New York Times bestselling authors and TED speakers, and people that survived the most challenging traumas of life. All of these people share open-heartedly, and I've learned so much during these past years. And I'm just so happy and excited I get to share this with people from all over the world. I want to hear from you if you're struggling with something, if you have a goal, if you have a dream, and there's anything we can do to help, please reach out. It's very easy to find me. Just Google my name and you'll get to my email address, and you'll be able to easily get in touch with me. Also, under my name on Instagram, it's very, very easy to DM. So let's get right to the chase of this show. And this show is going to be about how long are you in failure mode. And I know you don't like talk about failure, and most people don't want to talk about failure. And I mean, I know some of our the mindset that we never fail and we just learn. And I think that's all great, and that might be the case. But I think we sometimes put so much negative connotation to the world failing that we don't even want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about the word, and we don't want to talk about the experience. But there's so much to learn when you don't reach what you want, or when you publicly fail, or when you thought you were onto something but you're completely wrong. And let's just take a pause for a couple of moments and have you go back to a moment in your life where you were dead set and you knew this was the right decision, and nobody could convince you else, but you failed, and you failed so big that you were ashamed of yourself, and you were ashamed of going out. So let's just go back to that. I'm sorry, I know this is a hard moment, but let's go back to that. Just kind of think about it. And for a while, maybe also start going towards and say, okay, what did I learn from that experience? So I can share something with you while you're thinking. I remember, as you probably know, I'm a martial artist and I was an athlete in karate for many, many years, over 10 years for the national team of Sweden. And one of the first experiences that I had uh, was that in the beginning, nationally in Sweden, I was very good. So I started winning the tournaments. And when you're the best in your country, or at least among the best, you get selected to the national team. And if you get selected to the national team, you get to go to other countries and compete, which is awesome because you get to travel, you get to meet other great athletes and new friends and all of that. But you also have to go on the mat and compete against other fighters. And sometimes those fighters are on a much higher level. And I grew up in a small town in Sweden called Halmstad. And basically everybody knew our family, everybody knew me because the magazines were writing about me winning all these karate tournaments. And they were writing about me going to compete abroad. And in the beginning, in the national team, I usually, once we went to another country to compete, I usually lost in the first round because there were the level was so much different and I hadn't adjusted to that yet. And I'm using the word adjusting because what I'm seeing a lot is that you get good at something and then you challenge yourself amongst better people and you fail, you lose, and you go back to your comfort zone again and say, no, I don't like this. It's too painful to be here. So most people will go back to where they're comfortable and don't stay in that failure mode, so to speak, or pain long enough to actually adjust and get better and start winning there, and start going to the next level. And I think that's sad. And mostly it's because, we don't want to feel like failures. And we're going to talk about what feeling like a failure is. But so let's go back to the story here. Yeah. So I used to go abroad. I competed. I usually lost in the first round. And coming back, to my small hometown, everybody in the magazine, it said on Friday, Peter's going to this competition. He's the best in Sweden and all of that. And then I came back and I couldn't even go past the first round on an international tournament. And of course, everybody's going to ask, how did it go at work, at training? And I always felt like don't even going out because I was ashamed of myself. I was ashamed that I couldn't live up to their expectations. But little did they know that there was actually a gap in my skill and the skills of the athletes from another country they were just better than me. And that's not a bad thing. Sometimes we put that personally. And I want to talk about that. If you fail at something, it doesn't mean you're a bad person or that you're not worthy. And I think that's the problem that a lot of us have, including me when I was a young athlete. If I didn't win, I wasn't worthy as a human being. So I put all my worthiness in actually accomplishing stuff and winning. And I know a lot of people do this. And if you can relate, let me know, because I would be curious to see how your thoughts are. But during this progress, this painful moments, looking people in the eye and say, I lost, it was very painful, but it also triggered, something within me. It made me humble. First of all, it made me realize that, hey, we're all human beings. And, even though I'm usually see myself as a champion, there's other champions that I need to, I need to increase my level of skill and my training in order to be able to call myself a champion in that room. And I think that's true for all of us. You can be a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond. I don't know what you prefer, but I love people that challenge themselves and don't take it too seriously. Now I'm better with that. I can handle failure much better and I don't stay in the failure mode too long. But now let's talk about that.
what did you feel when I said, like, you fail publicly, you fail openly? Like, how long did you stay in that mode? And I meet a lot of people, I'm in sales, I'm in real estate. I work with people all the time, clients, but also my colleagues. And I know for a fact, a lot of the people that I meet, if they get a no or something bad happens, they get so discouraged that they ponder on that for weeks. And during those weeks, you can't really move forward and do anything, because if you feel like, oh, I'm worthless, I'm not doing good, I failed again, you're just giving yourself so much negative feedback that your confidence level goes down. uh, what changed a lot for me, and I think this could help you too, is to take responsibility. First of all, there's this thing, you have to distinguish performance and worthiness. So performing at something, whatever it might be, music, at being an athlete, work, sales, family, the gym, whatever that is, that's a performance. Being worthy, you're already worthy. There's somebody that loves you, and you should love yourself, and you are already worthy. So being good at something and performing at something should never make you feel less or more worthy, even though it does. Let's be honest, it does. But if you can work on that and understand, like, hey, I'm a good human being, I love who I am, maybe I don't have the results in my life that I want right now, but I'm still worthy as a human being, and I'm going to keep moving forward. So once you have that, and you can understand that not succeeding right now is okay. And this has helped me a lot. When I don't succeed, when I fail, so to speak, I look at it. Okay, first of all, I take responsibility. No matter what happened, it's my responsibility. It's nobody else's fault. It is my responsibility. And I need to take that responsibility, because then the power is in within me. Okay, what did I do wrong? And how can I change this to the future? So once I've made that distinguish, and I want to make this as fast as possible. Maybe I'm angry for like an hour or two, and then I sit down and write down, okay, what did I do wrong? And how can I move forward and be better? Once I've done that, it's like a fire igniting in me. I want to do better. I want to come back. I want to show to myself that I can do this. And that's when I'm dangerous. And that's when I enjoy life. I feel alive, because I love performing. Obviously, that's what I'm a competitor. And even if you're not, it should somehow give you this ignition or ignite. I'm sorry for my English, but that fire, that it should light a fire within you to do better and move forward in your life and create the things that you want, because life is exciting and life is an adventure. And the last person you want to be is the old and grumpy grandpa that share all the things you could have done, all the places you could have visited, all the businesses you could have started, all the frogs or princesses or princess that you could have kissed. That's all good, but it's not a good life. And we see this all the time, and it makes me sad. And most of it, I think, comes from fear, because we don't want to fail. We don't want to fail publicly. And the, I understand you, because it hurts, but you do learn so much. I remember a situation, I don't know if you've heard this story before. This was 2000, I think it was 2011. Yeah, 2011. I'm sorry, getting old. It's 10, 11 years ago. National championships in karate. So I was by many considered a favorite, because the tournament before I just smashed everybody, won very, very easily. And this national championship, no excuses. I did not perform. I lost to my best friend publicly, pretty big. And I also lost the bronze fight. So here I am, the guy that's supposed to win not even medaling. And on a national championship, that hurts a lot because everyone you know is there. All your, your training partners, all the people that want you to succeed, all the people that don't want you to succeed, all the coaches, everybody's there. And you have to face them. And I choose that day, no matter how much it hurt, I choose to stand my ground because I knew some of my teammates performed better than they ever did before. And although I wasn't happy for my performance, I choose to be there and I didn't hide. And I saw these people coming to me, saying we're sorry. And then like I could see that some of people like were happy that I did not perform. And all of that hurt a lot. But I mean, that moment, I think it's life changing for me because I decided I am going to be quiet, just train hard and come back stronger than I've ever been before. So I let them talk. I let all of that pain when people said, I was like, you can keep talking. It hurts a lot, but I'm going to keep moving forward. And that's exactly what I did. So during that following year, I analyzed with my father, my coach, and my other coaches on how I could become better. What can I do to become better? And we trained smarter and harder than we'd ever done before. And it ended up with me being a world medalist in Shotokan karate less than a year later. So now here comes the question. Would I have become a world medalist if I did not lose so publicly that day? I honestly don't think so. I think I needed that pain in order to excel and to become better. So failure, in a way, if you choose to use it in the right way and adapt and let that fire ignite within you, it's actually a good thing. And you should know if you're getting everything you're going after, you're not operating at your highest and best, level. If you always win, if you always succeed, I mean, it's nice to be cocky, but you're not operating at the level you could. You're not living the life that you could live. So failing is just a part of life. I mean, let's face it, we're all going to die. That doesn't mean we're failing. It's just that that's part of life. Just like competing or going after a new account or a partner or trying to win something, it's all part of life. Just be okay with seeing life as a learning experience, and don't don't think that you are unworthy, because you're so worthy. I love you. I hope you love yourself. If you don't start working on that, because it's so important, it should be an adventure. It should be fun to go out, and compete and become the best version of yourself. Because a lot of times we're always competing against other people. And when we measure that, we always measure our performance against other people. I think a lot of times we undersell ourselves, because what if you have much more potential and a completely different story than that person? So it really doesn't matter if you win against somebody in any given field, because you might have much more potential, or sometimes they might have that. So it doesn't serve anybody to measure that. But what really is interesting is to see, how can I perform to the best of my abilities? How can I become the best version of myself and live out those dreams that I have and create goals? One more thing that has helped me a lot is also to do more things. So a lot of people, I don't think they're doing enough. And then they stay, they try to do something, it doesn't work out. And then they stay in that mode for 3 months, 6 months, a year, because they're not in action. I always try to do, a lot of things that I like. So if one thing fails, I take it, but I don't have time to, ponder too much on it. I take my responsibility. What did I do wrong? And then I move forward. And I try to do that as quickly as possible. And I don't think you should necessarily always bounce right back up, because then you might get hit by the same shot again, so to speak. And Tim Grover is talking about this in his book Winning, which is an interesting book. I'm not sure if I agree with everything, but it's definitely a great book worth reading. But more action, do more things that makes you happy, go after the things that you love, and don't stay in failure mode too long. So what I would love for you to do right now before you move on is to take out a piece of paper and just mention one or two or maybe three big failures that you have done, and then write down what you learned from those experiences and how that made you better and how long you were in failure mode, and just see what you can do to become better in the future, and just create this happy, joyous life where you contribute to the world and when you create what makes you happy. That's all I got for today, guys. I'm super excited for the next episode. We have a great guest coming up. I don't want to disclose too much, but we're going to talk about mindset and we're going to have so much fun. I hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, please share this with somebody that needs to hear this message and give us a review. That's it. I love you guys. Take care and see you next week.